up, guys? Memoryx back with a brand new video. And today for this video we have why was Giratina disowned by Arceus by a Maze Dragon? So we obviously already reacted to a Maze Dragon's why was Arceus's fourth creation a mistake? Y'all know I love that theory. And if y'all should already know I'm a big Pokemon fan. You see I'm even wearing my Pokemon shirt today. So I was like, yeah, and I've always loved the theory, especially of the creation trio. So and I love Giratina too. So yeah, I was when I saw this video get uploaded, I'm like, yeah, I gotta see this. So to be clear, y'all are actually getting two videos today. There's two videos I wanted to react to today. This one, and then Daddy Fast Enough dropped the Superman rap. I've seen like the little YouTube shorts, the little teasers he's been putting out for it. I gotta listen to that one. So we're gonna be doing that one right after this. But for right now, I'm ready to hop in on this and see what the Maze Dragon got for us this time with the theories. Because y'all know I've always been a fan of the popular theory of why was Giratina banished? What did he do? Because all they ever say about Giratina is that he was banished because of his violence. Never go into specifics about what he actually did. It's just my theory has always been that Giratina, unalived the god of matter, since Giratina is the god of antimatter, basically. So, hey, we about to see.
Bears the title of the renegade Pokemon due to its violent, destructive nature, causing it to be banished to the distortion world by Arceus. Or that's what the two want you to think. The real reason Arceus created Giratina was hidden from us for a reason. So, let's start by debunking its supposed powers. Giratina doesn't control antimatter, nor does it control gravity. I think it's something completely different. Because here's the thing, real antimatter doesn't work like that at all. If 1 gram of antimatter were to come in contact with a gram of matter, it would release the same amount of energy as that of a small nuclear explosion.
Dang.
And well, Giratina certainly isn't known for blowing everything up, especially to that degree of destruction. What about the theory that Giratina controls gravity? Well, if it really did control it, like how Dialga and Palkia govern time and space, you'd expect a signature move or a Pokédex line to confirm it, but none exist. Instead, its moves revolve around stealth and phasing through dimensions, not bending gravity wells like a black hole. Giratina controlling gravity also doesn't really explain its ghost typing. Palkia's water typing, on the other hand, makes sense, because water adapts to all recipients. It symbolizes the space's ever-changing forms. Dialga's steel typing is also very easily explained, because steel is stable and unchanging, just like the nature of time. So if it's not an antimatter nuke, or a cosmic gravity well, that leaves something else entirely. As we know, Dialga's and Palkia's respective signature moves are known as Roar of Time and Spatial Rend, with each literally telling you what they control. But Giratina's, well, it's known as Shadow Force, not something like Antimatter Annihilation, even though that would be pretty cool. Thus, it would actually make a lot of sense that Arceus gave Giratina control over the shadows, not antimatter. It would also finally allow for Giratina to fit in alongside the other two creation dragons, as Dialga and Palkia never really follow this black and white morality we humans are used to. Instead, they like to follow this weird blue and orange motive, where they're still opposites of one another, sure, but you can't really figure out who's in the right and who's in the wrong. With Giratina being able to control shadows, it allows it to become the opposite of Arceus, its mirror. Think about the distortion world. It's not chaotic for the sake of chaos. Gravity flips. Floors become walls. Time doesn't flow normally. It's not broken, it's perfectly contrary to our own world. This isn't just poetic. The Hisuian Pokédex even says there's an old verse about a powerful light creating a deep shadow. The powerful light? Arceus. That shadow? Giratina. So...
okay, yeah, that does make more sense, that Giratina is more like a god of shadow more than a god of antimatter. Hey, that's still cool, but there is a part of me, though, that still kind of wonders if there was still, like, a fourth creation. Well, we basically, obviously, know the theory from last time, but where the fourth creation was the original one, the original dragon, I mean. But hey, who knows? We don't see.
Maybe Giratina doesn't actually destroy reality, it reflects it, holding it in balance alongside Arceus. Having said all that, what about the various accounts that detail Giratina's destructive tendencies? In the games, it's always said that Giratina was banished for being violent. I mean, even Arceus themselves calls Giratina the banished Pokemon, and the clear definition of banishment is being sent away as punishment. However, if you look closer, this story also starts to fall apart. If Giratina was really banished, then how can it travel back and forth between the worlds so easily?
Oh yeah.
And why do the games also mention Giratina actually being gifted the Distortion World, not being imprisoned there? Here, look at the inscriptions of the Spooky Plate in Legends of Arceus. It states that Arceus gave the Raging Third, otherwise known as Giratina, the other side of the world, or, well, the Distortion World. The Iron Plate also mentions that which fills the other side of the world can shape the rage and mold it. So, obviously, Giratina is also very much in control of his emotions, not a mindless beast. Even Cynthia, the champion who Pavloved an entire generation, hints at this in Pokemon Masters EX. Before I read her dialogue though, here's a quick note on the validity of this game's events.
That's creepy, bro. That's creepy. Just, imagine if they had that scene in Pokemon Legends Arceus, just the red. Like we already got the scene of Giratina coming out the Distortion World, but just like imagine if we got the scene with the whole red eyes and everything.
Even Cynthia, the champion who Pavloved an entire generation, hints at this in Pokemon Masters EX. Before I read her dialogue though, here's a quick note on the validity of this game's events. There was an interview done with Pokémon producer Yu Sasaki, who worked with the Pokemon Company to ensure that the actions and the words the characters say in the EX games do not deviate from what they would do in the games, so this is still very much lore accurate. Anyway, here is what she says. There are few existing theories as to why Giratina was in a world like that. According to one, Giratina was banished to another world for its violence. However, as I kept examining myths and reference materials from different angles, I started to uncover the truth. I think Giratina is actually a kind soul, watching over our world from the shadows to protect us. Since God's also...
That makes sense. I mean, it has always kind of been implied that Giratina wasn't completely bad, because like you see obviously in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, while I didn't play, or Platinum to be more specific, while I didn't play that game, I remember seeing like the Pokemon anime when they like animated an episode for it. I watched that, and you see Giratina immediately came out to come save Dialga and Palkia. I mean, granted, he could be just saving the. I mean, which is still maybe better. So yeah, it's kind of always been implied that Giratina wasn't as bad. Even in the game, you do eventually catch Giratina in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I guess it's shown after you fight Giratina, you can go find him and catch him, and it's I guess kind of proving that he's really not that bad. So, but at the same time, though, you can definitely tell there's still, if he was gifted the Distortion World, why does he have hostility towards Arceus? Because like when you think about it, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, he teamed up with Volo to overthrow Arceus. So if Giratina was gifted the Distortion World, why would he still have some hostility towards Arceus? Because like if he was truly banished to the Distortion World and trapped there, then that make more sense why then that itself makes more sense why he's angry towards Arceus. So if he was actually just gifted the Distortion World and he just lives there, why is he pissed at Arceus? I'm hoping he'll explain that.
Don't have a good track record of being truthful, it might be the case that Arceus didn't create Giratina, and instead, they were created at the same time. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, and while you're doing that, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you've enjoyed it so far. So why is Giratina...
See that would be cool too if Arceus didn't even create Giratina. But at the same time, then I wonder if it's implied that there's multiple. Then why is there multiple Giratinas? Kind of like multiple Giratinas, like in multiple different content. Because like I'm pretty sure I remember the creator said that for like all legendaries, there's multiple different forms, different legendaries, and different continuities of Pokemon. So like in Pokemon mangas, games, animes, they're all have their own versions of those characters, but they've always stated there's only one Arceus. And Arceus appears in different medias, but everyone always assumes it's because Arceus could split himself up, and it's basically confirmed that Arceus could split himself up into multiple pieces. So that makes me wonder, can Giratina do the same thing? Because we got Giratina in multiple different universes as well. He's in the mangas, he's in the games, he was literally in a movie, which frankly, if this means Giratina's up there with Arceus, then it kind of makes Hoopa and the Clash of Ages kind of dumb, because dumb at some points because how the heck was Hooper able to control Giratina of all people if you can't control Arceus? But anyhow, but anyhow, I'm really just ranting at this point. Y'all know I love my Pokemon theories, but yeah, but still, it is a cool theory to think about the fact because it has kind of always been implied that Giratina is probably the only Pokemon that can kind of reach close to Arceus levels in terms of strength.
Labeled as the banished Pokemon if it isn't actually as destructive as it's first made out to be. That can actually be explained by humanity's constant need to put a moral label on everything and everyone. We humans love to label everything as good or bad, but those lines shift all the time depending on what the society currently values. So it's a human construct, not something a god would even reference or care for. We don't want to think about the fact that maybe our world needs something that lives in the dark, so that's exactly what Giratina uses to its advantage, staying hidden in the shadows so it can keep balance without anyone meddling. But Giratina being viewed in a negative light has to have come from somewhere, and I think it's from this old story. Within Canalith City's library, there's a myth, specifically the Veilstone myth, and I'd like you to look at it. In short, it says that a young, foolish man found a sword and killed Pokemon without thinking. When all the Pokemon disappeared, he searched far and wide, but then he found one very much unlike the others. This Pokemon told him, "If you bring harm, we will take our toll to protect ourselves." Seeing his mistake, the young man snapped the sword and begged for forgiveness. The Pokemon then vanished to a place beyond seeing. Turnback Cave, the place where Giratina resides, is right near Veilstone City, with the myth basically saying that Giratina taught humans a lesson about balance, before returning to a place beyond seeing, obviously referencing the distortion world. As a fun side note, this myth also explains why we don't use weapons to battle others, instead opting to use Pokemon to settle our disputes. Either way, that's only one of the many examples for Giratina working towards restoring the world's order. Because in...
See, ooh, I would have to pause it on like one of the creepiest Pokemon panels ever. Cause see now they really just gave see a Mage Dragon, you're doing really good right here because you really just broke down the explanation as to why humans don't just throw hands at this point. Cause like in every Pokemon game you're going after the evil villain group, and it's just like why are we still fighting Pokemon battles? Y'all trying to destroy the world. Why are we not throwing hands? Like I should be jumping you at this point. Like I should be picking up a pipe and just what? So that's actually a really cool theory to think about. The fact that the reason why humans don't actually fight each other is because Giratina taught them about not fighting each other instead of settling their disputes in different ways. So dang, Giratina better than I thought.
Pokemon Platinum, Cyrus chains Dialga and Palkia and also subdues the Lake Trio, to which Giratina responds to by dragging his ass to the Distortion World. There, it doesn't actually destroy him, it only pulled Cyrus away before he could misuse Dialga's and Palkia's powers. Then there's Volo in Legends Arceus. Volo grew up longing for the power and answers coming from his heritage, and when he finds Giratina in Turnback Cave, he sees it as an avatar of destruction he can use to force an audience with Arceus. But that's Volo's projection. Giratina was always a guardian. It just played the villain to test him, to test the player, and to maintain balance. After Volo's defeat, Giratina doesn't gloat or punish him. Instead, it shows Volo that he was wrong. The so-called renegade Pokemon was never a destroyer, but a silent protector, and Volo's own darkness blinded him to that truth. I also don't think that Giratina actually cared whether Volo succeeded or failed in the way a human might. It only cares about maintaining balance, not about good or evil, right or wrong, or anything of those similar lines. If Volo had truly upset the world's balance, Giratina would have intervened, just as it did with Cyrus. It acts
I kind of wonder if he would have upset the world's balance. He literally... granted, I guess that goes along with Giratina's nature, but he literally used Giratina to tear a hole in the sky that rips through time and space. So I don't know. I feel like Giratina will kind of want to put. Shoot, Giratina is the one who did it. Like, why would Giratina even do it in the first place? So that means Giratina was in on. That means Giratina's at. I'm sorry, I almost cussed. Giratina was in with Arceus about testing the dang player. Literally ripping a child out of time and bringing them back in the past just to test them. That's crazy. Giratina was in on it too. Man, I was already mad enough at Arceus doing that. Just rip me. Like, imagine getting ripped out of your time frame and brought all the way to the past just to get tested. That's crazy. I'm sitting here thinking it was. I will say it makes Arceus' case a little bit better because I was sitting here thinking his man really ripped somebody out of time, brought him all the way to the past just to make him fight his battle. Because that's actually insane. Back up a little bit.
Cares about maintaining balance, not about good or evil, right or wrong, or anything of those similar lines. If Volo had truly upset the world's balance, Giratina would have intervened, just as it did with Cyrus. It acts when the scales tip too far, not because it wants to rule or destroy anything. But that's just my idea. If you have a suggestion for a different type of theory, or even a different game entirely that you want me to do a theory on, let me know.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool. That was a really good theory. But hey, I will say that would clear a good amount of things up. But there's still a part of me that tingles in my brain with a few more questions. Well, I guess basically questions that you were already kind of addressing. So it's like at the end of the day, these are all just theories, so we have no idea if this is actually how Giratina is. For all we know, Giratina could be pure evil. Okay, no, he's not pure evil. We know he's not pure evil. But yeah, you can basically tell he's kind of like in the middle. He doesn't really care about good or bad. He just he basically just I feel like he's just going with the flow at this point. But yeah, as I was saying before, if Giratina really if Arceus didn't create Giratina like everyone thinks he did, and Giratina was actually just born at the same time as Arceus, that 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 kind of makes Hoopa and that movie Hoopa and the Clash of the Ages kind of dumb. It's like, I mean, think about it. It's already bad enough that Hoopa was like. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I still love the movie, even if it's just fan service galore. I still love the movie. Um, it was dumb enough that Hoopa was able to control both Dialga and Palkia, the god of space and time. But I was able to let it go because like there's multiple versions of Dialga and Palkia. You know, like I said, basically Arceus made multiple versions of them throughout each verse of Pokemon. But if we think about the fact that Arceus didn't make Giratina, that means Giratina was just born along with Arceus, and will put Giratina right up there with Arceus. How the heck was Hoopa able to control Giratina of all Pokemon? Yeah, because like you definitely see Hoopa wasn't calling Arceus out. You know he wasn't controlling Arceus. So how was he controlling Giratina? Because if anything, Giratina is probably only is either up there with Arceus or only a little bit weaker than Arceus. No, wait. But wait. See that? See now this? See, I just thought about something. This literally just popped in my head. If if Arceus didn't create Giratina and Giratina was just born alongside Arceus, how is Arceus able to use Giratina's powers? Am I not tripping? Or didn't in the Arceus boss battle in Pokemon Legends Arceus, didn't Arceus use Giratina's move? Like promise I remember him being able to do that. Because like if that's the case, then how come Giratina can't use none of Arceus' moves? Like why doesn't Giratina get like Judgment or something like that if they're born kind of right alongside, born alongside each other? You would expect them to kind of have similar powers or whatever. But Arceus can use all of Giratina's powers, but Giratina can't use any of Arceus' powers. So see, see, it's like every time I think of something, I get more questions. But hey, but either way, it was still an awesome theory of Maze Drag. You definitely cleared some things up. They done cleared up now. Why humans don't just box each other because of Giratina. Still an amazing theory at the end of the day. Anyhow, it's gonna be in this video. I gotta get out of here before I rant too much. I get to Pokemon, I just rant too much. It's gonna be in this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you for the DPS reaction that's coming right after this one. And until next time, y'all. See ya.